Oh my gosh, where is the mouse? Oh, Sarah, I feel like. Oh, okay, hold on. Why? Hold on. Oh, oh my God, I feel like a boomer. Literally, where is the mouse? Oh, there it is. Whew. Okay. I'm Lizzie Nielsen. I spent my engineering career leading complex projects in healthcare and beyond, all while constantly learning and trying to stay human along the way. But there was a moment earlier in my career when someone told me I didn't have enough technical rigor. What does that even mean? And turns out I wasn't alone in that kind of experience. I've met so many women in STEM and other industries who've been made to feel the same way. Brilliant people with great instincts, deep skills, and real impact, still feeling like they're one misstep away from being seen as not enough. So I started this podcast to change that story. Welcome to Technical Rigor. Turns out, we've got plenty. Today, I'm joined by Sara Feuling, a civil engineer with over 16 years of experience, including nearly a decade with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation in both design and construction. Her rigor can be found squarely in the E of STEM, from engineering leadership at the Association of Equipment Manufacturers to entrepreneurship as the founder and principal engineer of Feuling and Associates, a consulting engineering firm. Outside of work, she branches into all the other STEM letters with her involvement with multiple nonprofits, from STEM Forward to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Metro Milwaukee. I'm so excited to talk to Sara today. Okay, Sara, I am so excited to have you on Technical Rigor. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me.
There's so many places we could start, but one thing I wanted to talk to you about was with the letters of STEM. You talked about how with your career, you're like engineering, end of list. But I loved that for everything else, STEAM included the arts with your interests outside of work, though. So I'd love for you to talk more about that.
I'm very passionate about the work I do outside of work. It's a lot of STEM and STEAM and pulling those things together. And while, right, my background is engineering, you can't effectively communicate without an artistic spin, whether that's graphics or words. Recording this, it's how you communicate. And that is an art. That's not a science. So I think it's been really, really fun for me to be able to engage with some of the groups that I do. I'm a big sister with Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'm very involved with STEM Forward. So it's a local nonprofit in Milwaukee. They
Oh,
manage the Future City competition. It's a national program for middle schoolers where you design, build, research a city of the future.
wow.
And it's really exciting to see, especially as we've come to embrace STEM for what it really is and broadening it to include the A and include the STEAM, where you're seeing this next generation just really
Right.
embrace that combination. And yes, they have really, really strong math skills, but then there's eighth graders standing in front of a room of adults speaking like coherently, professionally. That blows
Yes.
my mind every time. It's a lot of fun.
I am totally with you on that. Anytime I've done volunteering for STEM groups, it just blows me away what students are doing in schools these days. The Project Lead the Way classes that are now part of it, it's so incredible. I love what you said too about how STEM has expanded into STEAM. There's two schools of thought on that. Some people are like, well, once we have the arts in there, isn't that essentially just accounting for everything?
Right?
What excites you about the fact that arts is kind of part of that STEAM acronym now?
Yeah, I think you are broadening the scope. But when you say STEM, if you're not inherently good at math and science, you're out.
Right.
You're not going to consider it. You're not going to pursue it. You're not going to realize that there are opportunities in those technical fields that
Yes.
aren't math and science. There's project management, there's graphics, there's all of the things that go into it that is tied to arts. Arts does not mean a picture on a wall. Communication is an art. And I think that's traditionally been where engineers and scientists get the stereotype that they do. We are in a box, heads down, pocket protector, can't hold a conversation. You
Absolutely.
can do your job technically well, but if you can't communicate how do you understand and communicate the bigger picture and the value of what it is that you're doing?
Exactly. And with the arts piece, I was a huge band nerd in high school and through college. And so even with that, I truly had an experience where I had to design a valve. I was playing my trumpet at the community jazz band practice. And it clicked for me as I was there, like, oh my God, it could work like the valve on my trumpet. And I prototyped it and it worked.
Yeah.
So many of the lessons I have from being in music and you're part of something bigger than yourself, needing to depend on others. It honestly is part of what makes me a good engineer too.
Mhm. Yeah.
What were some of those things that you did experience that led you toward the path of engineering?
Engineering was a complete accident for me. I switched to engineering my sophomore year of college.
Oh,
Growing up, we were always playing in my grandparents' basement with grandpa. He's die and tool. My dad is die and tool. Everybody's mechanical, kind of a thing. As soon as you were big enough, you were sitting at the workbench with a hammer and some nails and a 2x4. I was always building stuff, not necessarily, again, not mechanically. Like it wasn't like, oh, here's a VCR. Let's take it apart and put it back together.
yeah.
But how can I build this? And then how can I draw it? How can I make this picture?
Right.
So I essentially started college as an architecture major.
Interesting.
I like erector sets. I like building things. I like drawing houses. My brain was like, oh, that's architecture. I didn't really have anybody saying, no, that's engineering.
Yes,
There wasn't
absolutely.
the connection to that. So I started college, like I tested out of all required math for my degree, and I'm sitting each semester in some other art class where it's genuinely a class where you're sitting there and they're showing you pictures and you have to memorize like the period and the
Mhm.
I don't even know the words.
Yep.
Like I don't know what that picture represents. I don't know what style it's painted in and I don't care, frankly.
Yeah.
It was end of sophomore year that I switched over to civil engineering. So
Oh.
instead of designing the pretty big, beautiful house, I was telling you the math to make it stand out. I
Yes.
spent one semester as an intern in construction, and I was like, nope, I'm a construction girl. So,
Oh my gosh. What do you think resonated with you for the
um,
construction piece?
I think a little more of you're actually doing a thing, meaning every day you physically, visually accomplished
Mm,
something. It's not lines on a paper, it's not words on a sheet. It is end of the day, I've got 10 piles sticking out of the ground. End of the week, I've got a bridge 300,000 people drive over.
totally.
For me, that was the connection and the bigger picture of this is something that people use every day. And the design is just as important, right? We could not build it without the talented design engineers. But for me, understanding the design, but then being able to bring it to life was really the piece that
Mm,
for me stuck.
yes.
And
I worked at a company in the Milwaukee area where it's a hydraulic tool company. So I talk to a college class every year. And I've always found myself describing that experience as if you had told 20-year-old me that someday I'd be working at a high pressure hydraulic tool company, I'd be like, oh, that doesn't really sound like me.
right.
But, like, what drives me within engineering all the time is designing for the people behind what I do, because I've worked in product development my entire career, so it's the human side of the people using it, the people building it, the people servicing it, patients who just experience it. That's what really draws me to it, and then with those types of high force tools, things that are literally lifting bridges and building buildings and servicing wind turbines, it's like we're working on really cool shit that's literally building the world.
Right.
I love talking about that connection too, because you can be connected to so many things that are bigger than yourself and the impact that you have in something like STEM and especially in engineering. I love that you have a similar take on I'm making the thing. Look at
Mhm.
this thing.
Yes. Yes. And that's I think too, especially with all the STEM stuff, as we talk about workforce from that next generation. I'm a millennial and there's a lot of bad stereotypes. There's even worse ones, right? About your Gen Zs and your Gen Alphas now. But
Yes.
stop and think. We just want to make a difference. So don't tell me I can make this much money or tell me that oh this and that. No, tell me why it matters. And then if I'm
Yes.
invested in that, you will get everything I have. That's true of not just the millennial generation, but the Z's and the A's too. They're so lazy, people say. They're not. If you find them and get them excited, they are better and they're more technologically savvy and they can do stuff in half the time because it's just
Right.
they grew up with a phone in their hand. They grew up with a computer. And so I think it is. Once you translate not what it is, but why.
Exactly.
I make those hydraulic components that make sure that excavator can work. And that excavator is digging the foundation for this future hospital that is going to impact the hundreds of thousands of people that live in that neighborhood. So trying to explain why that's important or why that matters is that's how you get people excited. So you want to do something that you're passionate about, that you care about, right? That makes the difference. And I think for me that was the construction part, and especially in the heavy highway world. So I was a project manager on the Zoo interchange.
You were? That's so
Yeah,
cool.
I worked for DOT for about 10 years. When you talk about the impact that you have, you're impacting 400,000 vehicles every day with the work that you're doing. 94 is part of the connection from the East Coast to Billings, Montana.
Mhm.
That is freight, that is goods, that is everything that we impacted every day during construction, but we're then making it better for after, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. So when you think about yeah, okay, fine. I'm sitting here writing a change order or fighting with my contractor about this little thing, but that little thing being done well, being done right impacts this bigger thing.
Yes. What would make your day hard on a project like that?
So I think the biggest thing for just any construction project, let alone something big or small, it is the public perception. It's they were just here. There's more construction. There's more lane closures. And they don't care, they don't understand because they were inconvenienced.
Right.
So a lot of that role, that job, representing that project or that company or any of that is trying to say, yeah, you know what, I get it. Like, that's frustrating for me too, but it's 6 months of this because remember this problem, remember that problem, remember this delay, remember that, and we're going to fix all of that. We're going to make A to B so much better, so much smoother, more consistent. It's gonna hurt for a little bit, but, like, stick with us here, right? But the public in general doesn't, I think, appreciate that. They don't see the value of it, right? Because all they're seeing is, "There's a lane closure. I can't get to where I wanna go without traffic."
No,
But then
totally.
we're trying to explain that, right? Where every day you're trying to explain and justify, at the same time, get the work done well with quality.
Right? No matter what we're designing, safety is paramount, but especially in a public structure,
Mhm.
like infrastructure, it's kind of an overused phrase, you go slow to go fast. You don't wanna rush something because it's actually gonna cost you more money, more time, more pain down the line. So it is truly like, do it right the
Yeah.
first time.
Do it right the first time, correct.
Yes. This might be a niche topic because we're in Wisconsin and just the Midwest in general. Why are people so opposed to zipper merging here?
I don't understand. I agree with you. So you would think Midwest politeness would say alternate. But I
Exactly.
think it is Midwest politeness that said, but I was polite and I moved over
Yes.
and you're being rude by staying in your lane. So
Mhm.
now I'm going to be rude back.
Right.
As I think what it is. That's my only explanation for it because it
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Totally. And I will be candid, I am not above this. As a kid in my 20s, I was definitely the person like, why aren't these people getting over? The sign says we got to get over. So I got over.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying I had an aha because I have an engineering degree, but it started to clip for me of just like, okay, but path of least resistance,
Yes.
like we're totally avoiding an entire lane. And I will say, I don't know, I have no data on this. This is just anecdotal, but I used to live in Madison, now living in Milwaukee. I feel like people are better at it in the Milwaukee area than in Madison. So was there ever like a DOT like, hey, we got to get people to like be into zipper merging? Like,
There is education from the DOT talking about the zipper merge. and how you use it and why it's better. Like, they've started putting signs out that says, like, "Stay in your
Yes,
lane." Like,
yes. And, like, use all lanes during
yes,
back.
use all lanes during backups, and that
Yes.
is a black on white sign, which means it's enforceable. So
Oh.
yellow is like caution, do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
advisory, whatever, but black on white is like real. They did. The DOT has gone out there, has tried multiple state level DOTs, federal DOT, communities are trying to share that because, like you said, it's path of least resistance. It's utilizing all available space and flow. So instead of pushing it all back in 2 lanes,
Right.
use that third lane. You
Exactly.
fit how many hundreds of cars in that. You're not gonna go any slower because if you're gonna merge at the same speed, and that's, I think, what people see a lot of times too, is there's somebody flying in that lane that ends, right?
Yep.
And then they have to slam on the brakes and cut over.
Exactly.
That's not the intention either. And
Right.
it's just I don't know. We've tried.
We've kind of touched on a few of these things, but, like, is there anything else from the industries that you've worked in that you know because you've worked in it and maybe others don't know and it might surprise them?
I don't know that I would say it surprises people, but one of my absolute pet peeves, it is concrete. It is not cement. Concrete is a mixture of aggregates, cement,
Oh.
and water, other additives, right? Sometimes there's fly ash, sometimes there's stabilizers, sometimes there's different things, but it's not cement. It's not a cement truck. It's a concrete truck. Like,
Oh, interesting. Okay. See, I thought the difference was that cement is when it's still wet and not cured, and that it becomes
uh,
concrete. Oh, no. Are you gonna hang up
no,
now? Is the
Nope,
podcast
you're good.
over?
No, you're totally fine because this is the thing that people don't know. It
Right,
is a
right.
general thing. So cement is the binder, basically, right? It's your glue. So
Oh.
like a grout is just cement and water. You can have cementitious material that isn't concrete. Concrete is
Mm.
water, cement, aggregate. That's like a medical drama being like, they're having a heart reproductive thing. Like, and you're like, no, that's wrong. Like it is fundamentally wrong.
Yes, it's like, so, I had a project where I was working on something related to the heart, and they were talking about, like, yeah, it's such a pet peeve on all the medical shows when someone's flatlining and then they shock them. They're like, "That's not how you
Yep,
bring." And I was like,
correct.
"Oh, interesting."
Yep. Yep, it's something it's that simple where you're
Yeah,
just like it's a just general common
yeah,
misunderstanding, and it's widely accepted to just say that and use that. It's not just, "Oh, I'm using this term, that term." It is fundamentally a thing.
yeah. I think it's so important with those things to just be eager to educate. And
Yeah.
rather than making someone feel like shit for not knowing something
Yes.
that's just well known within the industry or in engineering, those things just can eat at you if you're ever made to feel like, how did you not know that? It's like, well, where was I supposed to know that?
Right?
There's one time at a previous job where we would brainstorm a lot, and one of the ones we were doing, it was like a complicated thing that we were brainstorming around, and I was like, "You know what? Instead of a Sharpie, I'm gonna actually brainstorm with a pencil because sometimes I'll, like, make perspective and I'm like, I don't want that line there
I
that."
don't want that dark one and like
And this one engineering manager just was, like, on my ass about, like, "You can't brainstorm in pencil." And I was like, "Says who? That says who?" Like, this is not, like, an ASME standard,
I
like,
was gonna say
and it's just
ASAP does
like
not tell me this.
it was many years into my career at that point, but I'm like, if I were 22, I would've been like, "Oh, oh god, oh, sorry, oh,
Yes.
oh," like,
Correct. I'm brainstorming. This isn't a
like
document that is
right,
gonna serve us if we get sued one day.
totally,
Like
like, get outta here. Oh my
yeah, and
god.
that was a thing that I did too, where same thing, like working in project management. I was taught always sign in blue, so you know it's the original.
Oh.
And then someone else was like, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I was told, like, there's no doubt then." And they're like, "No, that's not really a thing."
And especially on stuff that, like, there's some, official records or things that have to be formatted a certain way, but it's like, what is this power trip comment about? And I think it's one of those things too where it's like we all think differently.
Right?
I'm like a very visual, I wanna, like, sketch stuff
Mhm.
and, like, highlight and, like, it just we all just think and create differently, and it's like to try to keep forcing people into a box of, like, what they're supposed to be.
I know.
One of the things I like to share too for that college class that I present at every year is I always say there's no one right way to be an engineer.
Mhm.
There's gonna be so many people you run into who are gonna try to make you feel that there actually is one right way, but If that were true, you and I wouldn't be in
I
engineering.
was just gonna say, correct. I would have been fired a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah,
yeah.
but I think that's a great point though too, Lizzie, where you're just like, I feel like that's part of again that generational challenge, going back to some of that, where
Yeah.
we were raised, you can be anything you want to be,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So it doesn't all look the same, but that stereotype is still there.
Yeah,
So that's what's so challenging about this.
right.
We're not going to attract, retain, get people excited and involved in what is this technical, scientific, kind of artsy world that we all live in if we're going to shove them in a box.
Right.
It's all that matters, right?
Absolutely.
And so, like, trying to step back and some of the lessons that I've learned in the workplace and through my STEM career have absolutely translated back home too, to personal
Really?
life, to home life, to say, here's how you, like you said, you can tell somebody something without making them feel bad for not knowing it. Yeah, I have the skill. It shouldn't
Right.
matter where it's happening. So I think there's definitely that opportunity to just like, how does this move forward and how do we get it done? And as long as you're accomplishing that, I'm not gonna tell you you can do it in a blue pen or a red pen, right? Like use a pencil if you want. I don't really care.
I mean, especially because, right, you're outside on job sites, like, having
Yes.
to record, so it's like, what do you actually need to be efficient and effective
Correct.
at your
Correct.
job?
It's a tool that I like to use that makes me better at my job. I was not a pencil person. I used to do my calculus homework, like, in pen in college because
Oh, totally.
I just liked pens. I liked how they
Oh,
write.
same.
I'm
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I I don't write in block letters, like,
Mhm.
even in what was it? I was already, like, a senior in college, so, like, a semester away from graduating, and I was, like, an advanced steel course.
Yeah.
The professor that they brought in, he's like a real world guy, right? And after our first homework assignment, he goes, "Are you sure you're an engineer? Like, your handwriting is not the handwriting of an engineer."
What?
And I was like, "What?" I have very artsy, we'll say, handwriting. And he's like, "You don't write like an engineer." And I
Wow.
go, "Well, I'm graduating in, like, 6 months as one." So
And, like, ugh, I hate that, just even if it's totally innocuous, you would have never said that to a male
right.
student.
Would you have said
I
that to
would
one of
bet
your boys?
$1,000,000. Like,
Uh-huh.
I
I
just
know.
know it.
Right. Which is, I think, part of where you develop the voice is because you had to,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I had classes as an undergrad where you were encouraged to work together. So I worked with a friend of mine. We turned in the exact same homework. So we worked together to do it. He got an A and I got a C. I went to the professor and I said, "Hey, what the And he goes, "Oh, so you copied?" And I
What?
went, "No, you told us to work together." And he was just like, whatever." And so he like changed it to a B. And I was like,
I
the is happening right now? Like,
Oh my god.
again, my personality has always kind of been there, but it's been hidden insecurities and anxieties and whatever. But then you get into those situations over and over and over. And I had to be twice as good to be taken half as seriously.
Yeah.
I'm usually the only girl in the room. And so you end up standing out. So you get involved, you get engaged, you get recognized. And then that just means more eyes on what you're doing. And so you immediately have this, at least for me, inherent, I have to do it better because they're all watching me. They're all going to see if I fuck up.
Right.
Nobody's going to notice if one of 20 dudes messes up, but they're going to notice if I do because I'm the girl. And it's not even from older generations. It's,
Yeah, I know. I know.
I, it blows my mind that still like exists, but it is what it is. And part of why I do the STEM and STEAM stuff that I do, right, is saying they're gonna give you shit, but use it to fuel you doing better and owning your space in that room rather than using it to shut down and feel intimidated, right? You have to
Mhm.
shift your mindset a little bit and
Mhm.
use it to your advantage.
Oh my god. Where do I even I mean, for me, right, I have been in those rooms where I'm the only woman, um, and I feel like the feeling of it has certainly changed throughout my career, and I'm really hypersensitive if I see a younger, engineer, like, in those situations, and just I really do want things to change where we can still develop incredible skills and be successful and, like, not have to go through the trenches with, like, barbed wire and, like, blood and sweat and
Yeah.
tears. Just with what you were sharing too, has there ever been a point where you were considering, like, "Man, am I in the right field? Like, should I stay?"
Sometimes, yes and no. A thing that I've learned as I've grown in my career where maybe early on I would have been like, "Oh, this is stupid." Like, I like, "This is stupid. I don't wanna keep fighting. I don't wanna have to keep proving. I'm seeing my male counterparts get promoted," like, all this kinda stuff, but DE&I almost helped, right? Because they were like, "Hey, we need to promote the girl." But then I had on backside people telling me, "You got promoted because you were the girl." And I was like, "No, I got promoted because I am the best one on our team. I'm smarter
Yes.
than that guy. I'm better than this person. I know my shit more than that guy.
Right.
I got promoted because I'm the right person for this role." But then as I got further in the career and developed those leadership skills along the way, because that's another art, right? You can't just focus on the people. You also have to focus on the execution and the job. And how do you balance those things? And learning that along the way was I don't have to know everything. I can be the top of the food chain. I'm never going to know everything. Nobody knows everything, but I
Right.
know just enough to speak intelligently. And then I know well enough to go connect with the person that does know and bring
Right,
that
you know the
person along.
questions that need to be answered.
Correct. And that's where you can, like you said, support a little bit or elevate some of those younger engineers who are coming in or some of the younger females that we're working with and saying, hey, this person knows a lot about that. Let's let that person take over, right? And just you're getting them and supporting them. Like you said, giving them that opportunity to not have to feel like they're like they're fighting and battling in a trench, just saying, I'm only as good as the people that work with me and for me.
Exactly.
So how can I elevate you to help you help me, right? To help us, to help
Yes.
the project, to help our mission. But yeah, I think as my career has evolved and I've taken a couple different paths and I'm half steering myself back into a path where it is. I went through a whole exercise and just leadership training skills and realizing what it is that I actually really like to do. But I'm very, very good at with the skill set that I have that balances the engineering and the leadership and the communication and this like all of those things. Like, okay, now how can I do that to make a difference, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple interns working for me and she went on and she's a project manager at a contractor now. Like she
Oh,
followed this whole path and whatever because you empowered her to do her job. You were there to support her and defend her in anything she had to do, but you let her do it on her own. She
exactly.
found that path on her own. But
Yes.
while you're kind of pushing, you know what I mean? Like pushing in the background or somebody will come back in the office and be like, "What the hell? Like, what did this girl do?" That, you know what I mean? They're trying to complain about the new kid on the job site.
Mm.
And you're like, "Yeah, but was she wrong?" No. Like, she maybe didn't handle it the right way, right? Or she
Yeah.
didn't know the right way to communicate or share or whatever, but was she wrong? Did she make the wrong decision?
Right.
No, she didn't. So, shut up and do it. You know what I mean? You get to have that, and that's where construction's a little more fun than a boardroom. You get to
Totally.
you can swear and you can fight and you can just tell them to shut up and get out of your office. Like, you can't do that
Right.
in a corporate setting.
Oh, Sarah, this was such an incredible conversation.
Yes. I'll say
I
this was
am
very fun for me as well.
good. I'm so glad. Oh my god, thank you so much for being on Technical
Yes.
Rigor. Um, is there anything you wanna remind listeners of, like, nonprofits to check out or things
Yes,
to volunteer for?
for sure. I think as we talk about the exposure to STEM, to STEAM, to all of that, while workforce is a global issue, right? It's a national issue. It is grassroots. It is you and you making a decision and you making that connection and changing the narrative is what I like to say. You're changing the narrative for one student, one child, and that then propagates through their networks, right? So a lot of the work that I do is with STEM, like I said, STEM Forward is a great nonprofit. They do a bunch of programs supporting that youth and that pipeline of talent in the STEM fields. Big Brothers Big Sisters has a bunch of opportunity as well. I also participate with ASCE of Southeast Wisconsin, and they do a STEM Expo every year that whether you're necessarily running to participate or volunteer as somebody that students can talk to, the things you say are being heard by very little ears, and they're weaseling in their brain and making one little comment about how construction is stupid and terrible, that kid's gonna grow up thinking construction is stupid and terrible. Guess what? It is a
Yes.
great, well-paying career. It is stable. There's opportunities for growth. Similarly, you could do anything and everything in that. So I think as the older generations, as we're trying to talk about how we promote these fields, it's very much getting involved, getting engaged, learning for yourself, and educating yourself about opportunities so you can help share and mold that next generation a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think there are so many opportunities in Southeast Wisconsin, in Wisconsin, across the nation, but it's about finding something in your local community that speaks to you. Again, those are just some of the groups that I work with, but there are multitudes and multiples out there, and there's something for everybody. So
There absolutely is. And you know what? I feel like the world needs more zipper merging too.
yes, yes. I will make a pro zipper merge sign, and we'll
Perfect. Again,
everything is a zipper merge from now on.
thank you so much, Sara.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Liz. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much for listening to Technical Rigor. Follow us at Technical Rigor, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or people we should interview, please email us at technicalrigor@gmail.com. If you liked what you heard, please like, rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast.
Chemistry was always red. And
I think I did green for chemistry.
ooh, that makes more sense. Like organically, I am.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. Or like for whatever reason, I think of like chemicals, and they're like like a green bubbling
Oh,
substance in a
yeah, like a
beaker.
green liquid in a beaker, like
Oh, and there's Dot.
big fluffy thing.
I know, she's such a bitch. I love her so much.
This has been a 2Max production.